Since I've shared my tracing process several times now, perhaps I should share my thoughts on the subject. I'm guessing it was a hot topic some years ago, but I still occasionally come across those "is tracing cheating" videos, so maybe it's still relevant. As they say, opinions are like azo yellows, and I have one too. So, in my opinion, 1. I don't see anything wrong with tracing others' work for one's own practice or enjoyment. 2. I think it's bad form to trace others' work and then share it without crediting the original artist. And 3. I think it's wrong to trace others' art and then claim it as your own original work. For my part, I only trace my own work. That's a personal preference and not intended as a criticism of those who don't. So, my reaction to censure toward tracing tools or techniques is why? Look, I get that art should be one's own, but why deny anyone the tools to help them improve? Are your paints invalid because you didn't mold them yourself? If you start making the decisions for everyone else, pretty soon the only authentic path to art is one's blood as the medium, one's finger as the brush, and one's belly as the canvas. Which sounds kinda cool, but that's not the point. So, yeah, the Azo Bello is over. And speaking of controversy, what's with institutions legitimizing the non-word irregardless? I feel betrayed, Merriam-Webster. I've done a few pieces with this 28 color mixed brand palette now, and it's worked fine so far. It's great having a large assortment to choose from, but at the same time, I realize a good 6 to 8 colors could be eliminated and wouldn't really be missed. Especially since that would make space for other colors I'm coveting. Yeah, I'm one of those who marks favorites on the paint brochures and circles them as they're acquired. Some might say that's being greedy. I call it having a plan. I also call it pointless, since I'm just going to get what happens to be affordable at the time. Producer Mike thinks adding a chopped element would bring thrills and intrigue to the channel. Whereas I think, why do I need a producer again? I'm kidding. Mostly. Sure, who wouldn't love to see a reality competition show called Brushed, where competing artists flip open their mystery baskets and exclaim, "No, not 90-pound hot pressed." Sounds like fun, right? Actually, I do think it's a good idea. I'm just not the person to translate that into YouTube content. For one thing, I'm not a fan of arbitrary limitations, whether it's tools, materials, or time. For another, I'm a party pooper. You know, the one complaining, drinking game. Can't I just enjoy my angry orchard without social requirements? I haven't studied art history, but one doesn't go through life without picking up a thing or two. And so I have some favorite paintings. Madam X by John Singer Sargent is one of those. I chose to have her strap off soldier in my version. I'd always thought the bodice looked a little odd, until I discovered that Sargent originally painted it with a fallen strap. He was pressured into changing it after public criticism. This was in France, mind, but it was back in the 1880s, so it was a huge scandal. I don't know, of course, but I imagine it really pissed him off. A couple of years later, he moved to England and went on to enjoy huge success as a portrait painter. Sargent is famous for his oil paintings, but he was also skilled with watercolors. I like to think that was his true passion, and he only did the portrait gigs to fund his watercolor addiction. What? You don't know? I love that dress. I believe it's supposed to be black, but I wanted a hint of color. It reminds me of Miss Scarlet's dress in the movie Clue, which for a long time I couldn't figure out was green or blue. I blame old TV sets and VHS recordings because, they aren't around to defend themselves. Speaking of old TV, who could have predicted back in the 1980s that soft-spoken, big-haired landscape painter Bob Ross would become such a pop culture icon? Last time I checked, there have been seven versions of Bob Ross Funko Pop figures. Even producer Mike has the one with the raccoon. Oh, yeah. Another keeper in a long line of outstanding color testing strips. That's right, my little "Does this mix need more green" oblong? You're going into my collection of all-time favorite recycled scraps. And the painting is all right too, I guess. I'm happy to share this take on a famous Victorian-era portrait. Regardless of the many differences, I think it's recognizable, and I feel confident I won't have to leave the country. Then again, we're living in a time of 6-foot buffers and irregardless in dictionaries. Should I be feeling confident about anything? Until next time, stay apartsy, my friends.